Okay, for our tech tune this evening, we're going to have Gary, KC3PO. He's going to give a quick talk on the field day plans. Gary?
This is just a preliminary meeting. We've only had one planning meeting so far, and for the most part we just reviewed what happened last year. I've also put a survey up online. We've got several responses so far, pretty good turnout, but there's definitely room for more. So the link is in email and on Facebook, and trying to think of where else. I think it's on the Groups IO as well. So dig up the link and go in there, and please answer the survey. That'll be some good feedback for us. I just talked through that slide. 36 responses so far, and that was as of like a half an hour ago when I put together this presentation.
Man, after my own heart.
You wonder why I came in 5 minutes late. Here are the dates for the upcoming and past meeting. April 16th will be the next meeting. That's next Monday, and that is at Denny's. I believe the rest of these planning meetings will be at Denny's. Is that correct, Brian? Okay. And at newly refurbished Denny's.
Yeah, we haven't been there yet, but we were sure at least it meant that the carpets were vacuumed.
Okay, good.
No, but Denny's down in this is
Newcastle.
Newcastle, and
Yeah.
they just finished up a remodel, so we'll look forward to a nice, cheery welcome.
Yeah, and actually, if you haven't been to Denny's for a while, they've improved the menu fairly recently. They've got some pretty good items on there. I was impressed last time I went in there and ate. And I left Denny's for a few years. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's a good meeting spot. What time are those meetings? 6 o'clock?
At 6 o'clock, and then some of us get there a little bit earlier and just kind of fellowship, chit-chat over a meal, coffee, whatever.
I'll probably be there about 6:05. We'll see. But my time's really tight, guys. It's not like I'm sitting watching TV and, oh, let's go to the meeting now. I'm racing from thing to thing typically. So this presentation, the slides will be available online, so you can get all the dates and stuff out of that. The big dates down at the bottom, June 22nd is Friday. That will be set up, and then Saturday and Sunday, 23rd and 24th will be field day itself. These are the shirts for this year, and again, we'll do a group order for the shirts. And Brian, can you handle that?
Yep.
Yes.
Next meeting, we'll have a handout
Sign up
that we'll
list.
send around that people can indicate if they want a shirt and what size.
Great, thanks. And there's also pins that are available. That's what the pin looks like.
Gary?
Yes.
I forgot to write down the dates for the meetings. I'm going to put it in the newsletter. Back it up.
The key is that everyone is invited. This isn't just for a select few people. This is where everybody can get together, give your input, and then also we can kind of get together and plan for the best field day ever.
Absolutely. This was the layout last year, and it worked pretty good. This is Nyack up here, is Burger King and so on. And these are, I don't want to go really into detail on the antennas and so on, but this particular area is, as far as area-wise, it's probably a 1/6 to a 1/5 of the area that we're actually allowed. We can have the diameter of the area, we can have 1,000 feet, and this is about 300 feet. So one thing that we've already discussed a little bit, and we'll be looking into more, checking out the site and that kind of thing, see if we can spread out a little bit more. And that way, hopefully, we can have similar frequencies and so on without too much interference between stations. So that's one of the things that we're kind of kicking around right now. This is last year's results. 15 meter. We hit the states that are in pink there, all in phone, in single sideband. 20 meters, we had a little bit better coverage, both phone, CW, and digital. We hit Hawaii and Alaska and all the way out to the East Coast. And 40 meters was actually the big one that we hit almost every state and did a good job on 40 meters. So this is, basically I'm showing this to give an indication that the antennas that we had up worked fairly well, even with, you know, the low sunspots and all that stuff. We had fairly decent propagation. And 80 meters we did fairly well as well. This is a bigger map, and it's I cocked it sideways, so don't want to get you guys too confused here. But this was the area that we were in, and I just made a little bit bigger map to show that there are some potential other areas that we may be able to spread out into. And I've also got a GPS that has property ownership and boundaries and that kind of thing. So I haven't been up there yet, but I plan to go up to the site and just actually kind of see where the property boundaries are and that kind of thing. Some of you may already know that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm fairly new to the club, and last year was my first time up there operating. But if anybody has any input on that, we'll go over it in future planning meetings and that kind of thing. I think based on the survey input so far, I didn't summarize it here, but I will have a summary on Monday at the meeting. A lot of people are into field day for their camaraderie, and that's good, that's great. Some people definitely want to operate as well. So we're going to try to balance the two, not one at the expense of the other. I think I've got some ideas for that, and again, that goes with the spreading out a little bit. Several people have mentioned that they'd like to have like a big tent, and I think we were talking about looking into having a larger pop-up with an area that maybe we can combine a couple stations in that area and have you know, a bunch of chairs to just sit down and relax and that kind of thing, and have kind of a club camaraderie area. And we can also spread out and have a couple stations a little bit further away that we can have some operators that just want to go out there and pound the keys and that kind of thing. They can be a little bit separate from that area. So hopefully we can get a little bit, you know, the best of both areas there. Plan on mainly, you know, last year, in my opinion, worked out pretty good. So that'll be the base that we'll go from. And based on some ideas in the meetings and some feedback from the survey and so on, we'll tweak things a little bit. I don't consider the tweaks that are in my mind, I don't consider them to be major. I guess someone else might consider them to be major. I don't know. Everybody's got a different perspective. But we'll sort all that stuff out in the planning meetings. One thing that Brian brought up is he wants to add a brunch. So we'll be discussing that as well. And the call-in frequency is the same as last year. And we're already registered with the ARRL on the field day map. That's pretty much all I got for now. Definitely would appreciate feedback in the survey. Right?
Can I just get an idea of who is wanting to come up for a full day on Saturday? Whether you're staying up there or whether you want to come up and, you know, spend the day. So if we bookend it like with a breakfast or a brunch and then the traditional potluck, is that something that you would like to take part in and coming up maybe at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning and then staying through the potluck in the afternoon? And we were just kind of talking about this in the meeting, but we just kind of wanted to have an idea. Would that bring people up for the day? Would it be of something of interest? So how many people are planning to come up pretty much for the full day or staying up there? Okay, a few. Okay. And if we did put on a brunch or a breakfast, is that something that you might be interested in coming up for? Yes? No? Yes? Okay, got a couple. Okay, this is some feedback. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, you talk about spreading out. I can visualize the antennas being spread out, but maybe with a little bit longer feed line, we can keep the losses down. We could probably have the operators' positions maybe a little bit closer.
Well, I do definitely see at least one cluster of operators. I don't think all the operators need to be together necessarily. That's my
Not
personal
close,
opinion.
but keep them somewhat close so that you don't have to go to the back 40 to see one person operating, and then go to the other part of the back 40 to see someone else.
Right, right. Again, trying to balance things a little
Right.
bit. We're not going to make everybody happy, I'm sure. But I think I see a good chunk of operators together, and they're, you know, from some of the feedback that I've gotten in the survey so far, there are a couple operators that would just like to be out in the back 40. And I'd like to respect that as well. It's a camaraderie thing for sure, but it's not just a barbecue. It's an operating event as well. So we're trying to balance things. Any other questions, comments? I'm really appreciating the feedback with the survey so far. There's some good comments in there, and there's some good feedback.
Thank you.